You're watching Channel 7. Welcome back to the Daily Rundown. I'm Dan Morfitt. Thank you so much for watching. It's something to say time now, where I open the floor to my fantastically opinionated guests to tell us something which has caught their attention this week. Are you going to be big on this? Who wants to go first? Who's got a big something to say?
Should we do rock, paper, scissors?
Okay, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Scissors cuts paper.
Yeah.
So
You can go first.
or I can delegate. Okay, fine. Well, so one of the other things that was mentioned in the Queen's speech was about the infrastructure of the UK, specifically to do with the roads, the airspaces, and talking about things like driverless cars.
Yeah.
And a spaceport.
Spaceports!
Right. So there's a couple of sites that they're considering for being able to, launch satellites and whatever else into orbit. Because there is actually a bit of a science manufacturing base in Britain. Quite a lot of satellites are made in a couple of sheds down in Surrey and Kent. Because it's really, industrial units, but it's men in sheds, essentially.
It's a full mission control as well near Leicester, isn't there?
Indeed. But I always wonder about that, though. If there's a manned mission and we have like a mission control somewhere, it's like, Leicester, we have a problem. It's like...
Milton Keynes, our booster rockets have died.
Well, because one of the sites that they're looking at was Stornoway up in Scotland, which would sound brilliant, wouldn't it? Odyssey to Stornoway, where go for some sort of burn thing. Stornoway's a good name to have as your control, isn't it? But it's
better than RAF Lossiemouth to the Sea of Tranquility.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that this has come through on the Queen's speech today.
Because it's not just, the other thing that was mentioned specifically in the article about this was about driverless cars. Because those have been trialled. They've been testing them on the streets of Coventry and a few other places, just a few different ideas. But weirdly, the thing that was actually being focused on more than anything else in this article that I read wasn't about the technology of driverless cars and about how it's kind of moving forward, but kind of definitely isn't there yet. It was focusing on the insurance because that's, yes, I imagine it would be a whole new ball game, but as if that's the first thing you think of. It's like, let's get the damn technology working right first. And
It'd be nice if normal cars had insurance first, which we have the technology to do, surely.
Yeah, indeed, and it wasn't subject to the kind of whims of the assessor or whatever. I just thought that was kind of an interesting slant for that particular article to take. But overall, again, something, these proposals, which sound actually quite good, because the other thing that it mentioned is kind of in line with the manufacturing is to do with drones. And the making of drones in Britain and their sort of use over airspace. And there are sort of questions because there have been a couple of near misses of drones at airports, just commercially available ones.
Yeah.
People remote control. So they kind of want to be able to make sure that it's not going to cause hundreds of people to die in a cartwheeling aircraft fireball type thing because the drone's gone into the engine. That's, so they're kind of addressing this new technology as it comes along and saying, okay, we want to build these things to make ourselves money for selling weapons overseas, because, great, I suppose. But also, we want to make sure that these things are regulated if people are choosing to use them.
It's interesting that as well that it's going into the Queen's speech, and I keep saying Queen's speech, it's in my head now, that they're looking at this first rather than sort of doing legislation afterwards, because things like segways have never caught on, those stupid little hoverboards, because they're not vehicles. They can't be insured, they can't be taxed. By doing this method first, by putting in the regulation and then seeing what happens, we're sort of preparing ourselves for this, because drones in the future could be delivering food to us, our shopping, and drones in the future could be a lot cheaper than, say, putting up police helicopters. It's a great, brave new world that we're going into, and it's quite nice.
Cool, isn't
to
it?
actually put these things forward. The spaceport is particularly interesting. It's all in Scotland, really, isn't it? Or Cornwall as well, I think.
A lot, yeah. So a lot of the suggested sites are in Scotland. One is in Cornwall. They don't, obviously, you don't want to put something that could potentially fall down and explode near somewhere relatively populated.
Sunderland.
I mean, maybe, perhaps. Sunderland, we have a problem. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Think about how it sounds transposed into a line from a science fiction film. Not... talking to Houston or whatever, it just doesn't sound as cool if it's,
Macclesfield.
Skegness.
We have a problem.
Yeah.
I think my thought is Cornwall's very nice. I like the idea of the first thing an alien hears is a little old lady going, "Oi, my love! Oi, my duck! How are you doing?"
I'm so scrumpy.
Oh, I've been...
Hello, this is Earth. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
They can't even hear me in Bristol.
What's occurring?
I've just realised we're basically bad-mouthing everybody and anybody in the southwest of England. So
No, we're not. We're not bad-mouthing them. We're
but-
saying it would be fantastic. Listen, I'm of the age where I grew up with Count Duckula and Nanny. I went to university in Bournemouth. I went to university in Bournemouth. I love Jethro. What happened was...
Wouldn't it be ironic though if you could actually go to space from Cornwall, but actually getting there in the first place is an absolute knacker on the A roads and B roads.
Somebody put something on Facebook. The recently award-winning comedian Davy Johns, who won in Cannes for his performance in a film, he in a Ken Loach movie, I think he said that it cost him £26 to get a train from Newcastle to Bristol. No, a flight from Newcastle to Bristol, but £32 to get a taxi from Bristol Airport into the centre of Bristol.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these costs are these crazy things. I just think driverless cars, just thinking Johnny cabs.
Yeah,
Oh yes,
Johnny cabs and Total Recall.
You've got a lot of love for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I have
Total Recall, The Running Man.
I have a great deal of apathy for Arnold Schwarzenegger. I have a great deal of enthusiasm for sci-fi.
You want to go
weirdness.
to the Mars colony from Newquay?
Yeah, definitely not the Colin Farrell version of Total Recall, where they essentially went to Scarborough. I don't know.
Ironically, though, if you do go to Newquay
Yeah.
in like Smugglers and Central Inn, it's a bit like Mars anyway. I like Newquay a lot.
I went to a stag do in Newquay and dressed as a doctor. It was great.
Well, I'm glad we've managed to stay on topic here, Jack.
Yes, But spaceports and driverless cars is the future, and we've already got like some Teslas are driverless and can drive. It's amazing that we're thinking of insurance first.
I thought that was good, but that was one of the things that we didn't specifically talk about that I thought, well, actually, that's kind of cool. I mean, the anti-royalist in me was like, "Arr," but actually, when you read the substance of it, it's like, oh, well, actually, that's kind of good, and that's kind of good, and that's kind of good.
You should see the Duke of Edinburgh in a driverless car first. See what the insurance is like on that.
Maybe, yes.
Maybe we could just put the royal family into space.
Ooh, yeah, but don't leave enough fuel for the trip home. Nice.
Oh no, they'll colonise Jupiter. Right.
Again, just thinking movies, just thinking King Ralph. John Goodman.
Yeah, they just killed them in a big photograph rather than...
Oh, I missed the
launched
first
them
5
into
minutes.
space.
Oh, I've got spoilers.
Oh, dear.
Stephen, let's have your something to say this.
Well, my something to say is I am nuts for the coconuts. I love a coconut. I have the coconut. I'm in love with the coconut. First written about in 1555, coming from the Spanish or Portuguese word coco, meaning face or grinning mask. It comes from a lot of these things. I mean, in the Maldivian culture, in the Malayan culture, in the Philippines, the coconut tree is known as the tree of 1,000 uses, a tree of life. It's not actually a nut. It's actually a drupe.
A what?
Coconut is a drupe. It is a drupe. It has 3 types. It has a mesoskeleton, an endoskeleton, and an exoskeleton. It has millions and millions of uses, from foodstuffs to rope to soap to ash you can burn. The difference between coconut milk and coconut water. If you want to know, the difference is coconut water is the endosperm within the coconut that turns into the white fleshy substance, and coconut
tasty.
milk is generated through passing hot water through desiccated coconut. And as we all know, too much coconut leaves you completely desiccated.
You love the coconut, though.
I love the coconut, and I also love the coconut octopus.
What's the coconut octopus?
Now, I'm glad you asked. The coconut octopus is the only cephalopod that can use tools. The coconut octopus, actually uses coconut shells as shelter and defence.
Oh, I've seen this. And
It puts it across itself. Yeah,
Octopus in a coconut?
They use it to as a shelter, so they will hide themselves underneath it, and they will also use it as defence to fight against it. And it's the only cephalopod that can use tools. And also, there have been 3 reported deaths, which I'm a great believer the workers rebelling, and there have been 3 documented cases of monkeys that were employed to pick coconuts, killing their owners by throwing the coconuts furiously, and one of them kicking the coconuts furiously out of the tree and killing their like, employers. Basically, it's the ultimate workers' revolution.
What kicked off your love for coconuts?
I think I always loved a coconut. I was always a fan of the Malibu. As a youngster, I was always a fan of the Malibu. Growing up, I got into the desiccated coconut. I was a fan of.
So it was a gateway.
It was a desiccated coconut was a gateway to the full hardcore pure goodness of the Bounty.
A gateway droop.
Yeah, a gateway droop. Now, I then have now discovered that you can use it to whiten your teeth. If you rinse with coconut oil in the morning, it can help you. I've shifted from using breadcrumbs to panko, which is a coconut-based sort of outside, so it doesn't have as much grease in it. I just think that the coconut is wonderful as a young nut. It's known as a jelly nut. It is just just phenomenal.
It's a jelly drink.
And if you put the lime in the coconut, then you drink it all up. And Harry Nelson will tell you that. I just think that the coconut is a fantastic thing. You can be allergic to coconuts. As all good things, you can be allergic to it. And I read a sentence which is brilliant. And my favourite sentence in researching this was, due to the supposed nature of the seriousness of the coconut, in 2006, the US FDA began identifying coconuts. Only in 2006 did the Americans identify coconuts. This is why they will never rule the world.
And on that, tonight's Something to Say has been about spaceports and coconuts. You only get this on the Daily Rundown. Right, we're going to go to another break now, but please don't go away. Don't go coconutty. I'll be back with my guests in just a minute with some more of the stranger stories of the day here on the Daily Rundown.